Is this the best value sub over on Amazon? Let's find out. Oh no, guys! This guy's already smoking! That's right, guys. Today we have the WLLDSE, not exactly sure how you say it, subwoofer. This is the MA5. We have the 15-inch version. Now, what's really cool about this guy is $130. 12-inch version is $120. And the 10-inch version, I think, is $112. So today we're going to be looking at this guy and seeing what it can really do. Now, from looking at this sub, that sounds like an insanely good deal, just given how expensive stuff is today. So we're going to be taking a look at this thing and seeing how it does. Real quick rundown on the specs on this guy. Looks like a non-pressed paper cone, medium-ish roll surround. We do have stitching, decently diff dust cap. It says 20 millimeters of X-Max, cast aluminum basket. Sensitivity is 85.6 dB. And the FS is about 27 hertz. So nice low FS on this guy. We have what look to be 8 to 6 gauge push terminals. Really nice flat tinsel leads that are sewn into the spider. I believe a 2.5-inch voice coil. However, it didn't say on the Amazon website. Nice looking motor over here with the boot over it. Let's check this guy out. Also, this guy is 800 watts RMS. I think it said 1600 max and then 24 peak. So for whatever that's worth. You know, we're gonna put this thing through a harsh RMS test though and really see if it can handle those 800 watts. Now, what I love about DefBonds is that I have tested a ton of subs. Some have done really well, some haven't. A while back, I tested a DefBond sub, and they actually hit me up and they said, hey man, you need to put that thing through a 5-minute 40 hertz test zone at its RMS power just to see what it can take. And I thought that was absolutely crazy, but I thought that was really cool. They reached out to me and asked me to do that. So since then, with every DefBond sub that I have tested, that is exactly what I have done. And y'all, they make it through the 5 minutes, which is absolutely crazy. Well guys, go check out Alfred Audio in the description below. They of course own DefBonds and Avatar, so go check them out, link in the description below. Alright guys, back to the video. Now a little while back, we tested out this sub by the same company, and this actually ended up being an absolutely insane sub. This guy retailed for only $165. A big old 3-inch coil. Honestly, a really large magnet. Huge push terminals. Nice leads. And this thing took absolutely everything I threw at it. Well exceeded its RMS ratings. All of that stuff. Now, unfortunately, this guy is unavailable on Amazon currently. But they just came out with this fella recently, so figured, hey, it'd be worth picking it up. But since this guy was such a great bang for the buck, when I saw that they had come out with a new one, I figured I'd check it out and see how it does. Real quick, comparing the two, you'll see, guys, for an extra like $35, you get a much bigger motor. Don't know if that'll show on video. You get a bigger 3-inch voice coil. Much bigger terminals. You get bigger leads, bigger surround. I will say the cone feels about the same. Pretty much the same dust cap. Now, just from looking at these two guys together, I would say if they have this bigger fella in stock for the extra $35, I would 100% pick this guy up if you can. But if $130 is where your budget is at, and again, assuming they don't have the bigger guy in stock, we're gonna see if this guy is still a budget gem for that price. All right, I've had it in here bumping around just to make sure everything breaks in. So went ahead and flipped it up so we can see it from the inside. Let's really push it, see how it does, and then of course run our test on it, see what it makes it through. Also, real quick, guys, I got the little fillet and air fixed, so now this guy shows voltage as well, which is super cool. It's like super quick and super accurate, which is just really neat. So now it is sitting a little bit low. I do need to adjust it, about 12.97 or so. So let's see, we're gonna go to here, we're gonna say voltmeter calibration. I'm gonna turn this up. Perfect. Already smoking. What? Oh no! Guys, that is crazy. What happened? Yo, everything was going just fine. All of a sudden, a bunch of smoke just starts rolling out. Oh goodness. Oh, I basically never have a sub blow that quick. Not that it's totally blown. Let's pull this thing out, see if everything looks okay. It is smoky in here, though. It is possible there was some, like, excess glue or something that shouldn't have been there that just got hot and burned off. I have seen that happen a couple times. Normally that's with, like, really big, beefy subs, though, where they just kind of cake on the glue. But let's pull this thing out and see. As you can see, the smoke just pouring out of there. Everything looks fine, nothing is rubbing, but let's hook up the old multimeter and see if we blew a coil or what. Okay, should be a dual 2 ohm sitting at 2.3, so that's perfect. That one says 2.4, so coil seems to be just fine. Alright, so the coil seems okay. As far as I can pull it up, nothing looks damaged, so I'm really going to hope there was some extra glue down in there that just got hot and was burning off. I don't know though, guys. That was a lot of smoke. But whatever. Let's let this thing cool off, and then we're going to throw it back in and do some more tests on it, I guess. Y'all, that was kind of crazy, but hey, it is what it is. I guess next up, let's run a couple bursts through it, see what kind of max power we can take for a super short period of time. We'll knock that out of the way, see how loud we can get this thing at 35, 40, and 45 hertz. And then from there, hey, maybe we'll do an RMS test. All right, we've got the sub facing the back like we normally do. We've got this driver's side window down, meter in the kick. Let's see what we get. 45 hertz. 5,201 watts. And hey, we did break up into a 140. All right, 40 hertz. Woo! Maxed it out there like crazy. 6,353 watts. And we still got a 140.8. All right, let's try 35 hertz. 5,572 watts. Hey, look at that though. We did get a 140.4. Let's try 30 hertz just for the fun of it. Took that. 6,272 watts. But we're losing gains. 139.5. All right, it took those bursts. No problem. I don't know, guys. Kind of crazy. Anyway, flipping it back up. We're going to do a musical RMS test now. See how it does through that. I don't know, guys. Also, getting up into the 140s, decent for a pretty cheap 15-inch sub. Louder than I get with most of my 12-inch subs, but I certainly have had a fair amount of beefier 12-inch subs that have, you know, got a good deal louder than that. So, hey, I can't complain. This little Amazon guy, for 130 bucks, decent score. All right, we've got this guy set to real-time power. So the actual power going through this guy. Of course, we have a clipping light, so if we were clipping, that would come on. Of course, we're not going to be clipping, so clean power going through this guy. We have a bass knob. Going to use this to make sure we stay as close to 800 watts as we can and see if we can make it for a full song. Let's get it. Other cool thing about this bass knob, guys, is you can change the sensitivity. It's got on the really low setting here, so that means you can, you know, really dial it in. Great for when I'm doing this test. I can keep it right exactly where I want it. If you need it to, of course, go up and down faster, you can adjust that, which is cool. And what's really neat is, let's say I'm doing a video and then all of a sudden the sub starts to smack bad or starts to blow or something. I can just press the top and it instantly mutes it, which is super cool. Hey, a little while ago I thought this thing was a goner, but since then, it seems to be working just fine. Doesn't sound weird or anything, so I don't know what the heck all that smoke was about, guys. That was kind of nuts, but anyway, still hanging on here. So next up, let's do the most brutal test known to mankind. Of course, that is the 40 hertz test tone RMS test. Now, for doing this test, we do a free air test. What that means is sub outside of the box, windows, doors open, that sort of thing. Now, this test is harder on the suspension of the sub just because there's no pressure inside the box to, you know, kind of hold it, so it'll overextend itself. That's okay. Having outside of the box, though, does allow cold air to circulate, which does keep the coil a little bit cooler, so it's kind of give and take here, but this is how I do with this test with all my subs, so let's see what it does. Got this guy at 40 hertz. I'm going to turn it up from here. Now, the way I see this, subs should last at least 2 minutes. Most subs I do this test to, if they do blow, they blow around the 2.5 to 3 minute mark. And the really good ones, you know, just keep going after 5. But hey, if this guy makes it to 2 minutes, I'll be all right. All right, there we go. Got it going. Going for 14 seconds. Let's see what happens. I'll keep having to turn it up because as the sub gets hot, the impedance rises, and of course that means we get less power. But hey, she's still going. Trying to keep it at 800 watts. Nope. Okay. Okay. 4 minutes. Woo! I'm kind of shocked. Alright guys, after about 4 minutes and 15 seconds, my phone fell asleep and it quit going, but hey, I was not expecting it to make it that far. I cannot believe we went from having smoke earlier to this thing doing the most brutal RMS test for over 4 minutes. Y'all, I'm just shocked. Of course, this being said, 800 watts is not that much power, not creating a ton of heat probably, so I'm not surprised. But hey, for $130 sub, you know, I guess 800 watts, probably a decent rating for this guy. Well, so far so good, but I'm gonna bump around with this thing for the next week or so, just to make sure it's fine, you know, make sure there's no issues. The fact we had all that smoke, you know, in the beginning, again, this makes me kind of worried, so let's see what happens. All right, guys, I've been driving around with it. It's been like 5 days or something since I filmed the last part, and all I got to say is it's doing just fine. Overall opinion is that for 130 bucks, it's an okay sub. That being said, if they had the HCY sub, you know, back available, I would 100% save up the extra 30 bucks and go grab it, in my opinion. But still, for the price, not a bad 15. I don't think it's a great deal, but it's hard to say though. I just feel like everything is so expensive now. Not really sure what all else you could get for 130 bucks that would be that much better. Well, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what stuff you want me to do next. But remember, as always, guys, keep basing on.